Good evening. Wow. I think we're going to have to squeeze up a little bit really because there's a whole heap more people downstairs yet, so it's going to be, unless people are going to stand on the stairs, we're going to have to... I'm sure everybody's used anti-close.
I didn't.
Right then, well thank you so much for turning up and welcome to the Larrivee evening. What we're going to try and do, if we can, is put Larrivee on the list of your guitars to try. So if you're going to buy a bespoke guitar, a handmade acoustic guitar, is there still people coming in? Okay, we want to try and put the Larrivee brand on your list of guitars to try. We're not going to try and sell them to you, but we're going to tell you, hopefully, why they're a good idea to try. We're going to talk a little bit about them, not too much. I'm under strict instructions not to talk too much. Hopefully explain a bit about the production, the manufacture, and the ethics behind Larrivee guitars. But I'm sure you'd like to hear them first. Do you think? Yeah. So, okay. This first tune we're going to do is the musical equivalent of my Lucky Underpants. If I get this one right, the evening normally goes okay. If not, we're going to the nearest pub and drinking cider until we fall over. We're loud enough. Can everybody hear at the back? Yeah, is that loud enough? Okay. Right, it's called Sweet Sue, and it's known in the trade as a guitar romp. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, shall we carry on, or shall we go down the pub? Is that all right? Okay, the next song is from the Bahamas. And I'm sure, with this many guitar players in the room, somebody's heard of Joseph Spence.
Oh, yes.
Oh, one.
Man.
Absolutely. Well, Joseph Spence had 2 lives, apparently. There's been 2 books written about him. One said he was a devout Christian and a lay preacher and rode the push bike a lot. Another said he was a raging alcoholic and a complete lunatic. And depending on which version of his life story you read, it's up to you to judge, really. He was one of the very first people, if not the very first, to be archived on reel-to-reel tape when tape machines became small enough to move around the world. And a guy called Alan Lomax, has anybody come across Alan Lomax? A very famous folk archivist, flew out to the Bahamas to record this legend that was Joseph Spence. In one book, he drank a gallon of Bahamian rum every day. Not a pint or a bottle, but a gallon of this fiendishly strong rum. And allegedly fathered 30 children. And that's the book that I prefer to kind of read. And I was in a delicatessen in London, and I found a bottle of Bahamian rum. So in order to research the song, obviously I bought it, and stoically drank it. And I couldn't father anything for a fortnight.
Makes it kind of like Joseph Spence, though.
Well, actually, when you hear the original recordings, it's quite amazing, because he was recorded for 16 hours on 16 one-hour spools of tape. And when they got the tapes back to Folk Archive Central, they realised he'd only played 1 tune for the whole 16 hours. But he had drunk a gallon of rum. So the tune at the end of the session was significantly different to the tune at the beginning of the session. And when he was asked about it, he was quite indignant and said, "Don't be stupid. How can I have possibly only played 1 tune for 16 hours? He said, "I played 4. So we're going to do the third one of those. There may be a cue to the loo by the time we've finished it. It comes in at 4 hours and 7 minutes, but it's worth listening to." And when he was asked again, he gave it 4 different names as well. It's the same tune, but he gave it 4 titles. He called it "Will There Be a Happy Meeting in Glory?" "Great Dreams of Heaven," "Will There Be a Happy Meeting at the Building?" and "Happy Building." But obviously he drunk so much rum by then he couldn't remember what it was called. Ry Cooder's done a version, John Renbourn's done a version, and Ralph McTell's done a version. And I've used a little bit of Ry Cooder's, a little bit of John Renbourn's, none at all of Ralph McTell's, and we've messed about with it. I've called it "Ode to Joe," and it's actually a nice little folk song from the Bahamas.